Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Creating Connection, your role as a local church lay leader. We are grateful to have you with us this evening, and we are looking forward to spending about an hour with you this evening to talk about the role of the local church lay leader and answer any questions that you may have. I am John Crane, and I have the privilege of serving as the conference lay leader here in our Western North Carolina conference. And I'm joined this evening by Linda Linfors. And Linda, I'll invite you to take a moment to introduce yourself.
Hello, friends. I'm from the Metro District at St. Stephen UMC. I've done various roles, laity roles in my church, and a couple of years as a lay leader. Every lay leader position is different, and you will make your own. What we're doing tonight is giving you a broad range of what is expected of you, and the way you do that is unique to you. I look forward to discussing both the joys and the challenges of being a lay leader. John?
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Linda. I really appreciate your partnership this evening. Thank you for being here with us. Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about our agenda. We're going to, I want to have an opportunity to share a little bit of information with you about some other folks that, as a local church lay leader, will be an important partner with you. And then we're going to talk about understanding your role, how you serve your church effectively, and then we'll share some helpful resources with you, and then we'll have a time for question and answers at the end, and we'll wrap up. So as we move into our time together this evening, one of the things that we wanted to do was make sure that we share with you the information about your district lay leader. And I have invited them to be with us this evening so that you could potentially put a face and a name together. And so not everyone is going to be able to be here, but let me take just a moment and invite, as I call your name, if we have district lay leaders, if you could take yourself off mute and say hello to the group so they'll have a chance to see you and hear you and give you an opportunity to greet everyone. So Penny Ledbetter.
Hey, John. Hey, everybody. How you doing? I'm
Penny
Penny Ledbetter. I'm the Appalachian District lay leader. I attend Union Grove United Methodist Church in Union Grove, North Carolina. And it's my pleasure to serve the Appalachian District. It's a great bunch of people there, and I look forward to getting to know as many of you as I can.
Thank you very much. Is Heath with us this evening?
I am. Thank you, John. Heath Nettles with the Blue Ridge District, kicking off in this role this year. So really excited for that and to serve the Blue Ridge District. I am at Mars Hill United Methodist Church in Mars Hill, North Carolina, and really pleased to meet you all tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here with us. I know our Gordon Hubble, who is our Catawba Valley District lay leader, is not here with us this evening. He sends his greetings and regrets, but he is a member of a team that helps with a prison ministry on Tuesday evenings with his church. And so we're grateful for their work there. Gordon attends First United Methodist Church in Lincolnton and is also the person who heads up the lay servant ministries work in the Catawba Valley District. Is Hank Dozier with us?
He was planning to come. I don't see him.
That's okay. Thank you. Hank is our Metro District lay leader, and he is relatively new in that role. He took that he took the role back in July, following annual conference last year. And many of you know Hank. He has been an active leader in our conference for a long time, and particularly with our United Methodist men in some other areas. And so we're grateful for his service as well. How about Kim Eller? All right. Kim is our district lay leader in the Northern Piedmont. She's been in that role for a little bit of time now. I think she also served last quadrennium. Many of you may also know her. She's been a leader in our United Women in Faith, and has taught classes in the lay servant ministry program as well. She is a great partner for us in the Northern Piedmont area. Is Patty Graham with us? Okay, I did not anticipate Patty being able to be here. Patty is in our Smoky Mountain District. She is a certified lay minister in addition to being the Smoky Mountain District lay leader, and is actually also serving as an appointed pastor as a certified lay minister for one of the churches there in the Smoky Mountain District. She is also a wealth of information and has responsibility for leading there the lay servant ministry program, and I'm sure it will be a great resource for you as well. Kathy Ward, Uwharrie District.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Ward from the Uwharrie District. I go to Central Denton, and I'm the lay leader there in my church, as well as the lay leader for the district. And I welcome everybody here. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, please give me a call.
Thank you very much, Kathy. We appreciate you being here with us. And then Tim Hoffman. Is Tim with us this evening?
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Tim Hoffman, Yadkin Valley District. I attend Grace Mission, one of the new emerging community churches in our conference and in the Yadkin Valley District. As Kathy said, you know, we're all here for one thing, and that's the only thing God asks of us. So if there's anything that I can do to ever help anyone, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to try to do that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate you being here, as well as the other members of our district lay leaders who were able to be here this evening. Wanted to make sure that you had a chance to at least hear these names, and in some cases see the individuals, because they'll be an important resource for you if you have questions in your role as a local church lay leader. They can help you with resources, and they can help make sure that you're connected in with all of the activities that are taking place within your district. If you look at the bottom of the screen there, we have a link to the Western North Carolina Conference website. And if you go to www.wnccumc.org /members of the Board of Laity, there you will find a listing of all of the members of the Board of Laity, including your district lay leader, with information, their contact information and email. You can also find information about your district lay leader on your district's website. And so the folks in the district office also would be glad to help you connect in with them if you have any questions. So we are a team, and we work together across our conference with these leaders as well as others on the Board of Laity. And we look forward to helping you as a local church lay leader to be able to help with ministries in your particular church. All right. Now, what we'd like to do is give you an opportunity to kind of tell us about yourself. And to do that, I am going to put up a little poll here for us. And you're going to be asked 3 questions about yourself. We're going to take a look at, we'd like to understand who we have with us in terms of our location. So we're asking you to let us know about the district in which your church is located. And then how long have you served as the lay leader of the church? So we understand some are new, some have been in it for a while, and maybe you're just joining to get a bit of a refresher or see if there's other information that you need. And we also recognize that some individuals are in our session this evening who are not the lay leader. Maybe you serve in another leadership role. And we also have some clergy with us this evening. And so feel free to indicate that as well. And then we would also enjoy understanding the average size of total worship attendance at your church. We know some folks have multiple worship services, so we're just looking kind of as an estimate to understand. So if you think about if you have 2 services, if you added those together on an average Sunday, about how many folks are there. So it looks like we have about 13% from the Appalachian, 6% from Blue Ridge, 13% from Catawba Valley, 17% from Metro, Northern Piedmont showing up strong with 26%. Representation from Smoky Mountain and Uwharrie, and then the Yadkin Valley as well. We have almost a third of us that are here that are lay leaders are that this is a first year. Some have been in the role for a little bit of time, and as I said, we have about a third of the folks here that are not currently the lay leader. Maybe you're thinking about it, or maybe you're just trying to figure out what does the lay leader, what do they do, so that maybe you're attending it, so that you can help share that information with them. And then as we take a look at the distribution that we have relative to our church sizes that are represented, it's fairly representative across our conference. A good portion of smaller church communities, of those of less than 25, about a third of us in churches up to about 50, and another 25% up to 100, and then the others above that. So we have almost about 10% in some of our larger churches. So thank you very much for sharing with us who we have in the room. It helps us just understand a little bit better about who's here and what information might be the most relevant for you. Okay. So let me turn it over to Linda, and we're going to talk about understanding your role.
And you're going to show your slides, share your slides, John. Okay. So we're talking about the role of lay leader, which about 30% of you may be like deer in headlights right now because you are new. And we're going to give you a lot of information. Again, I say every church is different, every pastor is different in how they use the lay leader. You'll be able to make the lay leader position your own as you go through this. Don't let this too much information get you down. But the great thing is you've been selected to serve as the lay leader, which means that you are respected by your pastor and the members of your church as someone who's knowledgeable about the church, can be trusted, and has relationships and wisdom to effectively represent the voice of the laity in your church. Although you may not feel like it, there are people that feel that you can handle this job. And I think the trust and relationships that you build are just going to be some of the best you have in your life. We'll be talking about that later. So as lay leader, you are the primary representative of the laity in your church. You're the key leader in helping to build an understanding and appreciation for the role of laity in the life and the ministry of the church. You have a special role because you are representing the majority of the church to your pastor and to the conference. Over the next few minutes, we're going to discuss various ways to succeed in your three main responsibilities. First responsibility is to partner effectively with your pastor in defining, communicating, and implementing the church mission and vision. The second is connecting your congregation to our broader United Methodist connectional system. Often, especially people joining the Methodist Church for the first time, don't understand the connectional system. And it's so much a bedrock of what we do and how we relate to each other. It's important that you are the person that can explain this to them. You are celebrating and encouraging the ministries of the laity in all the ways the laity serve, both in the church and beyond. Those are your responsibilities. So we're going to deal with the first one, partnering effectively with your pastor. This is a way that you're going to be developing a relationship that will work to advantage your church. Partnering effectively with your pastor means that you're defining, communicating, and implementing the church's mission and vision in two primary ways. Building that strong collaborative partnership with your pastor, and we're going to talk a little about that. And then serving as a key resource on various committees and ministries. Let's talk first about how to build that collaborative partnership with your pastor. And for this, we have a little mnemonic, and we're going to go through the titles, the things we think are essential in the partnership with your pastor. And the first is P for prayer. Prayer starts everything we do. And the prayer with your pastor is most important. Both you praying for your pastor and you and your pastor praying together for the church. Listening for God's will. Second is to be available to your pastor. It could be that you have lunch once in a while, maybe coffee, an appointment in his office. Make sure that you're available, and excuse me, I have to admit somebody, okay? Make sure that you are available to meet with them every week, every 2 weeks, to make sure you're both on God's page going forward. The essential part of being a partner is to have a relationship. And you're going to be more than a relationship with your pastor. The person themselves is who you're having a relationship with. Praying for their family, praying for their goals individually, helping to be honest and trustworthy, which is the next one, trustworthy. You're going to be keeping confidences with them, and you're going to share honestly, no holds barred, in a kind way, sharing what the laity are feeling, thinking, and how much they trust you. You trust that relationship is key to that relationship. John?
Thank you very much. As you're continuing to kind of think about this acronym for partner, the next one is one that you may find a little strange, but we call it neutrality. Now, that works real well because we needed a word that started with an N, but I like to think about it as fairness, right? What we're as the lay leader, what you have a difficult role because you are the connection point in many ways, often in partnership with your staff parish relations committee, but you are one of the primary links between your congregation and your pastor. And what you seek to do in that role is to be fair. It's important that both your pastor and your congregation feel that you really have their best interests at heart. And we hope that you really do. You may receive feedback from your congregation about, well, we don't like the way that the pastor does communion, or well, we think the pastor's sermon should be more of this, or we feel like the pastor should be well, I'm sure everybody's pastor visits totally enough. There's never anybody who feels like the pastor needs to visit anymore, but maybe that could be an example. But your role when you hear that is to hear it and to acknowledge it, but also there's things that you're going to know about things that are going on in the life of the pastor, or things in the life of the church that other individuals don't have access to. And so you want to try to be fair as you're sharing that feedback and making sure that it is something that you're presenting to the pastor in a way that is clear, but also is a way that recognizes that there's a lot of other things that going on that maybe the members of the congregation don't always have insight into. At the same time, we want to build on that by saying encouraging. One of the key roles that we have as individuals that are lay leaders is to try to be as encouraging as possible with the pastors. Now, there's different ways you can do that. Obviously, some churches choose to recognize a particular time of year where they have like pastor appreciation, and you may be part of that observation, or maybe you help with your staff parish committee to organize something. Sometimes we also have the opportunity to be individuals who are um, early in the careers of some of our pastors. And so you may have individuals who are still learning, maybe individuals who are going through the ordination process, and that's a really big step, requires a lot of work. And so you can ask them how that process is going, and help them to celebrate and to move forward as things evolve with there. So we look to try to be encouraging. And then lastly, in our little acronym here, we want to be realistic. We recognize that no church is without challenges. No church is without conflict occasionally. So be prepared for that. When you agreed to step into the role as the local church lay leader, you hopefully did that prayerfully, and with an acknowledgement that sometimes that means you're going to be the person that people come to when they're not happy. Now, hopefully they'll also come to you when they are happy so that you can share that information as well. But be realistic in terms of understanding that that's going to happen from time to time, and don't let that discourage you, and don't let it become a source of discouragement for your pastor as well. The goal here is to try to make sure that you're working in partnership with the pastor to make the congregation as effective in its mission to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world as you possibly can. You can also help your pastor be realistic. And sometimes they may have ideas and things that they are eager to try. You can be a helpful resource in that, by particularly if you're working with a pastor who is new to your church, by helping to give them context. That's not to say that you're saying things like, well, we've tried that before and it didn't work. But you can say with them, that's a great idea. When we tried it before, here's some things that were challenging for us. How can we work to make sure that we don't have the same kind of situations occur? And so again, this is really about partnership and trying to understand how your pastor most needs you to show up. In that effort, one of the things that we think is really important is, as Linda said, as you're building that relationship, have a conversation with your pastor, almost like a covenant type of relationship, to say, what is it that you need from me as your local church, as the lay leader, and also to share with your pastor, here's what I need from you. So we can move forward with that as a partnership mindset. And there's opportunities for us to build and clarify things like how we like to share information, how we like to receive information, and those kind of things that can be helpful for you as you move forward. Okay, let's talk about some of your specific duties as lay leader. Now, we have, as you know, in our Book of Discipline, there are special duties and committees that lay leaders are required to serve on. The ones that are specified in the Book of Discipline is that the lay leader serves as a member of your charge conference and your church council. So if you, some churches now have moved to having kind of a single church, a single committee, a single board model that handles a lot of things, but most churches still have a church council with various other committees. And the other three that you are part of is the Staff Parish Relations Committee, the Finance Committee, and the Committee on Nominations or Leadership Development. So these are the committees that, just by the nature of you being the local church lay leader, you're going to serve on. I want to take just a moment and talk about where you really have an opportunity to add value in that process. So if we think about the church council, this is the main body that is leading the church in partnership with your pastoral team. And so your role there, because you're one of the few folks that is sitting on all of these other committees is to help promote an integrated view of the church's ministries, to help make sure things are being connected and help the church council identify and understand the needs of the church and the community. In your role on the staff parish, you're asked to bring a focus of the church mission, and in partnership with your SPRC chairperson, help provide an understanding of the finance needs related to staffing. Also, you play an important role in helping to encourage the pastor, along with the whole SPRC committee, but encourage the pastor in pursuing health and wholeness and work-life balance, and helping the congregation understanding the importance of those things to the ministry of the life of the church. Clergy have a certain amount of vacation time based on their tenure. It's important that they have an opportunity to take that. And as the local church lay leader, you can be a helpful voice with your congregation and helping to explain when your pastor is going to be away, what the support for that looks like. Some of you may be asked to help be a point of contact for things that are going on in the congregation when that happens, or to connect folks with other pastoral support. And so that's really an important part of helping us deal with the health, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health of our clergy. Finance, as the local church lay leader, you would look to model an attitude of generosity and to help find creative ways to connect generosity and church mission. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the resources that you may find helpful with that. And as we mentioned, work with the SPRC chairperson to make sure the finance ministry understands what kind of staffing, what financial needs are needed to support your ministries from a staffing perspective. And then finally, one of the most important roles is serving on your nomination and leadership development team. There, you're trying to help make sure that you understand the leadership skills and the spiritual gifts needed for various ministry areas in the church, and provide input to the pastor regarding the interests, skills, experience, and the calling of church members relative to those leadership roles. Of course, that's more important in those situations where you have a pastor that has not been with your congregation for a while and does not have those relationships built. As local church lay leader, you're a great source of counsel and wisdom in that regard, and can help the committee move forward with their work. The important thing also is to remember, as Linda said, no two churches are the same, and you may be asked to fulfill additional responsibilities based on your local church's needs, traditions, and your organizational model. In some churches, the lay leader is asked to do worship leadership, either as a liturgist or to help maybe manage aspects of the service. Particularly if you're on like a multi-point charge, sometimes then there needs to be someone to either start or end a service while the pastor commutes to the other church. You might also be asked to serve as a lay member to annual conference. Not every church follows that approach, and you certainly can have other individuals do that, but some churches like to have their individuals, their lay leaders serve as their lay member to annual conference. And then you may be asked to serve on other committees or ministry teams as the needs arise. So if you've got a special purpose group or some type of a special event coming up, they may ask you to help be part of the leadership team for that, to provide the lay leader perspective. The important thing is to make sure that you're having that conversation with your pastor to make sure that you're clear on your role. Talk with the pastor to find out what other expectations the pastor has, because they may have come from a church where the lay leader did certain things that's not something that your church has traditionally done. Doesn't mean that you couldn't, but it might not be something that you're expecting to be asked to do. And so it's important to have those conversations around how you can best serve. Okay, we've given you a lot to think about here about your various roles. We want to give you a chance to kind of reflect on that and say, based on your church right now, which of the committees do you think you have the best opportunity to share influence with? So I'm going to put up another short little poll, and give you a chance to share with us which of these do you think you have the best opportunity to provide influence. And so it looks like about 20% said I'm probably most effective on the church council, 14% on staff parish relations, 4% on finance, 4% on nominations and lay leadership development. And over half of you said, you know what, I think pretty much I have a good voice and opportunity to influence all of those equally. And then some also had some other committee or ministry team based on your role. So that's great. All right. Thank you for that. And let's move forward. Okay, Linda, let me turn it back over to you.
Sure. So we've covered partnership with your pastor and your congregation. I do want to speak up for nominations a little bit. You know, a lot of the people in your congregation. Helping them to use their gifts is part of your role. So don't dismiss that nominations committee. Getting people in the right place to fulfill missions of the church is really, really important. So that's my soapbox. Our second main responsibility was connecting your congregation to the broader United Methodist connectional system. Again, being connected is part of your role as a lay leader. Connection, as far as getting someone nominated in the right place in your church, but also helping to use their gifts to benefit the district and the conference level. There are lots of places lay servants can be used. Your district lay leader can be a valuable partner in dealing with that. Subscribing to your district's email newsletter is about the best thing you can do to learn about the resources and the connections that can be made. Your district lay leader can help you with that, but just getting this, this connection to the newsletter and hearing stories from other churches will spark your ministry with your congregation. Share with your congregation information about the district and conference trainings. Encourage them to participate. We and the Board of Laity supervise the lay servant ministry training, and we're sort of keen on that. Focus, if someone is called to lead and serve and they're good communicators, this is a great place for them to be. Reach out with other United Methodist churches in your area to build relationships with those lay leaders and talk about the missions you can collaborate on. Just a great way to revitalize some missions is to get more people on board, and you get two churches together doing a service, and you really have a success on the way. Yes. One of the things when people come into the Methodist Church from another tradition is they don't understand about how the apportionments work, and the finance committee can be a great source of learning about that. But your role is explaining how apportionments are used on the district and conference level. There are, I always used to say, you can count the number of light bulbs in the church and make a pledge on that. Or like I like to do, I like to remember African University. All the way across the world, there's a university that many United Methodists go to, which has grown over the years since it started, that we are educating people in Africa on a wonderful a range of issues. Agriculture is one of the main things they do. And these resources continue to be used in Africa you can be a part of that. But educating how apportionments are used is really vital. We encourage your church to recognize the 6 special Sundays for giving, and there's some resources that we're going to talk about later for this, so I'm going to skip over that now. But some churches do all of them, some just do a few, but it's important to know about them and get to some resources.
Thank you, Linda. Just a couple things on that. You know, we'll show you there's a variety of information. And again, we're helping you be connectors here, right? So we're going to share some resources with you, and maybe there's individuals who lead stewardship in your church or your finance committee that you're going to share some of this information with. You don't have to do it all, but it's just helping to kind of create the awareness. I read something one time that said, you know, if we would just celebrate these special giving Sundays to the point of having $1 per member of our church given for these. You know, the total millions of dollars each year would be raised for each one of these ministries. And there's an opportunity for us to go in our giving beyond the local church in that regard as well. I also want to just talk one other brief comment to add what Linda shared with you about the lay servant ministry program. Some of you are, I recognize your name. Some of you are members of that do lay servant ministry training, and we are very grateful for that. Others of you may have thought that maybe lay servant ministry is just something you do, perhaps if you want to be able to preach in your church or preach at other churches. And I want to just let you know that that's not the case. Lay servant ministry training is for anyone who is looking to is currently a leader or is looking to build their leadership skills for use in the church, either around leading ministries, caring ministries, or communicating ministries. And if you look in the Book of Discipline, local church lay leaders are encouraged to become certified lay servants. So if you would like more information on that, I encourage you to reach out to myself, reach out to your district lay leader, and they'll be glad to get you connected with that program. All right, and let's take a look here then, Linda, at the last topic.
Yes, I was just responding in chat to somebody who said there are several folks now who would like to understand apportionments. And we're going to be giving some resources that you can look that up a little bit later. It's good to know your resources. So the last of your 3 responsibilities is to celebrate and encourage the ministry of the laity in all the ways the laity serve, both in the church and beyond. Some folks are teachers. Being able to encourage the people you have in your congregation that are teachers is a ministry of the church. Go on to the next one. Providing spiritual gifts training for folks who don't know what their passion and gift is very important. Encouraging members to share ideas for new ministries, helping them to talk out what their passion is, and maybe linking them up with somebody on the district level, or maybe in your church or a church that's around you that also has those same passions. This way, the mission of the church and God's will can be encouraged. Telling stories is the best way to encourage others to get involved with quote unquote church work. Telling the stories of what your congregation does, giving specifics, encouraging and celebrating those stories is probably the best way to lift up the members of your church, your laity.
We all know our churches often have individuals who are kind of the behind the scenes folks. They don't want a lot of accolades. They don't want it at all. But this could be this and others is an opportunity for us to help honor the way that everyone serves in the church, even if they're not individuals who are kind of out front and the ones who are always, showing up as the leaders of your ministries.
So here's some other ways that you can celebrate and encourage the laity. Observe laity focused Sundays. We just had our UWF Sunday, traditionally selecting a couple of lay members of the church to lift up what they have done for our congregation. So it's not in October, it's here in January. There is conference-wide and some district laity award services. Some of those are in late August, September, but each district has their own timeline. But that's another way to lift up those folks. Very important, celebrate those who complete lay servant ministry training, encourage them to continue. The lay servant ministries training is not just one class. You're taking several classes over a long period of time, a year or two. And so this is a commitment that people have made to improve themselves to help the church, and recognizing that completion is very encouraging for them and for others who can take advantage of that. John, you want to ask a
Excellent.
question?
Thank you. Yeah, so we know that churches all have different ways that they like to celebrate the work of the laity. We wanted to just get your opinion. How do you think your church currently does in celebrating laity ministries? And so let me just launch another short little poll with us here. Can you tell us, well, we think our church already we do a wonderful job. Others, maybe we do okay, but we could do better. And then there might be some that are saying, this is an area of growth for us. We don't do this right now as well as what we would like to, and I can help change that. About 20% think we're already doing a really good job with this, and they can build on that. Almost 60% of us said, you know what, we think we do okay, but there's opportunities for us to grow and we can do better. And about 25% that they said, well, we don't do this well right now, but I can help make this better in my role. So we thank you for that. And again, as Linda said when we started, as lay leader, you are one of the key resources to help build up and encourage and honor the work of the laity in all the different ways that they're able to serve. Okay, we are about at the end of our time this evening, and I want to show just a couple of resources that we've referenced for you. And we're going to share those screens as we go forward. There are a couple of things that can be helpful as you're trying to learn more about your role. The first is Cokesbury publishes a set of guidelines. They actually have these for each of the roles, each of the committees, and your church may have purchased these. If you haven't, I would encourage you to do that. I think you can get the entire series for less than $100 for all of it. It has all of the different committee chairperson roles and other kinds of things on there. But there is one specifically for those who are lay leaders or lay members. It has just been updated based on new information and reflecting the kinds of changes and things that came out of General Conference. So they now have a new set that's for this new quad for 2025 through 2028. And we also wanted to let you know you can also find some of you may have a copy of the Book of Discipline. It's not common necessarily that laity have that. Your church will have one, your pastor will have one if you needed it. But we also wanted to make sure that you knew that there is a free version of the Book of Discipline online. Now, I will point out, as we've noted here, it is the 2016 version. And so there is a new version of the Book of Discipline that was just released in January. And so that version is not online. But there's a lot of great information in the Book of Discipline that's not about procedures or what's allowed or those kind of things. There's information about who we are as United Methodists and our theological stance, and what we believe that's not changing. And so this would be another good resource that you could tap into if you're looking to find information to help educate your congregation a bit more about what it means to be United Methodist. Of course, we want to always make sure that we lift up our conference website. That's your primary resource for information, nccumc.org. And then we want to highlight for you also umcgiving.org. So I'm going to stop sharing the presentation now. And I want to switch over and just show you a couple of these websites. Okay. Are you able to see the conference webpage? We got that? Okay, great. So we wanted to make sure to share with you just a couple of things about this. First, obviously, this is a lot of great news and information about our conference and things that are going on in our conference. But we also wanted to make sure you knew that if you, with the different kinds of things that are here, you can find out a lot of information about the conference through the various resources and things that are available here. Importantly, what we wanted to make sure, especially to call to your attention, is if you go to the homepage and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, I apologize for the scrolling, but wanted you to see this. Down here at the bottom, it says subscribe to our newsletters. If you enter in your email address there and then click on go, it will take you to a page that lists a variety of different newsletters, including the weekly e-news, but there's also other newsletters for your districts that may have a newsletter. There's a newsletter for the leadership development team. And so this is an easy way for you to get connected in with a lot of information from the conference. And as a lay leader, you can be a really helpful resource with your pastor to try to make sure that you're sharing information from the conference in your district, because they get so much information. Sometimes it can be hard for them to keep track of everything. Or you may find something in there that you think that they just haven't seen, right? So we invite you to do that. I wanted to highlight for you this. If you go to umcgiving.org, it's going to redirect you to this resources.umc. Now, this is a great site for all things about apportionments and special Sundays. And so this talks to you about our connectional giving. You can see up here that there's information about apportioned funds, how we work together. You can see, there's information about did you know, and this is about how we fund things across. And then there's information about each of the apportioned funds here. So it's a great resource for understanding apportionments beyond the local church and beyond the conference. We also, here you can have, there's a special section on those special Sundays that we were talking to you about earlier. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there are leader kits for each one of them. So for example, if we think about UMCOR Sunday that's coming up, and you go to that, there are pastor and leader kits. So that gives you like the official date for this year is going to be on March 30th. And so you can see they're getting ready to launch new information coming up on that. But they have posters, they have infographics, they have things you can put in your newsletter, things you can put on social media, and a variety of different ministry moments and things that you can use during your worship services as well. So this is a really good resource to share, to learn a lot about UMC giving, and also to find resources to help you in your discipleship or excuse me, your stewardship opportunities there. And then finally, we mentioned to you this is that guidelines for lay leader. You can see if you just go to Cokesbury and search for guidelines for lay leader. You can either download that as a PDF or you can get it in a paperback version for the same cost. It's about $7. So we've got $7 for there, and then it gives you the information about how you work as a lay leader and how you connect as a lay leader or lay member to the annual conference. And then finally, again, Cokesbury does provide this book of discipline and also our book of resolutions. Again, it is the 2016 version, but it's a good resource that you can take and look at. And so, for example, in particular, we try to encourage folks to get past some of the kind of the history piece here, but it has a brief history of the Methodist Church in it. And then it has important information about our theological grounding and the various ways that we seek to live that out in our various ministry settings. So,
John, we've had a couple questions in the chat. What's the format of the lay servant training, such as self-study, online, or classroom? And someone else wanted to know how to signify that they'd be interested in that.
Great questions. Thank you for that. So, lay servant ministry training there's different ways it can be taught. Most districts offer some classes via Zoom. And then they also offer some classes in person at usually at kind of a central location within the district. And so there is the best way for you to get connected with that is to visit I'll go back to it and show you. If you go to and just go back to our main. Get off of this.
Homepage.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get to. My apologies. This doesn't help me. This thing wants to come down. So if you go to the main homepage and then click on districts, you can find the homepage for your particular district. And so I'm here in the Catawba Valley. If I click that, it will take me to the Catawba Valley District's homepage. And then you can see down here, you have the lay leaders link to the information or your office administrator. If you email either of those individuals, they can share with you what the current training calendar looks like or help make sure that you're on the list to be notified when other trainings are launched. I will tell you, most of our districts do their training a little later. So I think the Metro District is getting ready to launch their training coming up at the end of February, I believe. And the Northern Piedmont has already announced their training. Their registration information is already available, and they do it a little later in the spring. Catawba Valley, we often do our training in the fall. If it is a Zoom-based class, however, then you're welcome to take that class. You can take a class in any district, so you don't have to take the class in your district. And so, particularly if it's a Zoom-based class, you can certainly sign up to participate that way. If you've never done lay servant ministry training before, the first class that you're going to want to take is called the basic course, or it's called the Introduction to Lay Servant Ministries. And then once you take that, then you're eligible to take any advanced lay servant ministry courses that you would like to. And those run the gamut. Some of those are related to preaching, some to evangelism, discipleship, Bible study. There's a whole variety of different things that are taught, and each district kind of determines what they would like to teach from year to year. So does that help further?
John Henry has kindly put in the chat the connection to Northern Piedmont's lay servant ministry.
Oh, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're great partners. Other questions?
Had a couple people sign out. They're going to another class, so
Understand.
we don't have any more questions. But we're open for them. Anybody got a question?
All
I got a
right.
question.
Oh, sure. Please go ahead.
Well, I am already a lay servant at my church, and I've taken all the classes.
Okay.
So my name is Gracie Mangum, and I'm interested in getting certified. So I've already been able to preach and all that. So, but I want to get certified.
So, Gracie, glad to connect you with the program in your area. If you
Catawba Valley.
in Catawba Valley, okay. So yeah, I can get you connected there. When you say you're wanting to become certified, are you saying that you want to pursue becoming a certified lay minister? Or because if you've already taken the basic class and at least one advanced class, which it sounds like you have, you're already a certified lay servant. Now, there are a couple of different roles. There's a certified lay speaker and a certified lay minister role, which have some additional qualifications and educational requirements, for classes that you need to take. But I will be glad to connect in with you and answer any questions you have about that. Love to.
I'm interested in being a certified lay speaker.
Okay.
And I've already put my email in the chat.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Are there any other questions for this evening? If not, let me, as we wrap up our time together, I'd like to just invite you to bow your head, and I'd like to offer a prayer of blessing, if I may do that. And let me also thank again, Linda, you for your help and your participation in the program this evening. I'm grateful for your gifts and for your willingness to share those with us. Let us pray together. Most gracious God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to be together as your people. Lord, I thank you for each person who has been here this evening in this training and for those who will watch it later. We are grateful, God, for the many ways they serve their local churches, both as laity and some as clergy. And God, we just ask that you would continue to guide them in their growth as a disciple, as a leader, help them to lead effectively in the ministry context that you've given them, and help them to work together with the other laity and the clergy in their churches for your glory and for the furtherance of your kingdom. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for your time. Please reach out to us if we can be of any help, and God bless you.